And welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI, here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm the coach of PRI, Rick Gailey, along with our Prep Recruiting Insider, the I in PRI, Renee Nato. And we are so excited to be joined today by Coach Al Jones of the St. Aug Purple Knights. Coach Jones, thanks for being here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Rick. Good seeing you again. You too, Renee. Good seeing y'all.
You know, I know it's a recruiting show, but I got to start with a question. St. Augustine has turned out 45 players since the doors opened that have gone on to the NFL. That is more than any school in the state and among the top 6 or 7 in the entire country. Why has St. Augustine been so successful producing guys who've gone all the way to the NFL?
It's a combination of things, but the main thing is, first of all, we have a Catholic identity. We built on Christian values. We have discipline in the school. We have an environment that's conducive to learning. By being an all-male school, the boys can concentrate a little better. You know, they're not as distracted by some other persuasions. You know, but it's just basically what our principles and our values and our missions of the schools, and that's what we hold true to it. And so once you get the combination of talent, discipline, and majority of our kids, once they get into that environment, you know, they become young men. And so we're a training ground for success. We're a training ground for turning boys into men. And inside the building transfers to the field and to our other activities that we have going on in the school. I mean, yes, we have those amount of players in the NFL currently, but we also have a lot of guys that went to the NFL. I mean, they probably got cut, or probably you know, a lot of guys that were in college and did great in college and doing great in their other careers. As you know, we have a lot of guys that's in and around the city doing things. We actually have 13 sitting judges right now. Mm-hmm. We also have Avery Johnson, and mm-hmm. You can see some other people around that's doing some good things. So it's just who we are. You know, it's what we produce, it's what we do inside the school. We committed to excellence, and once those kids understand and get into that environment, they raise the bar, we raise the bar, and they meet the bar.
And you were brought in as the head coach. You were there as an assistant principal before. Yes, sir. You brought in as the 4th coach since Katrina to get back to those values. Kind of program had kind of gotten a little bit away from being the exemplary of what St. Aug stands for. So talk about getting back to basics, as we all have to do when things aren't going well, the basics of being a St. Aug Purple Knight.
Well, for me, it's easy, but, and not to take any away from any other coach or anything, but we haven't had a St. Aug coach in almost 7 years.
Right.
You know, and those other guys did a good job, but what you want to do is be able to have someone there that knows and understands the history, the discipline, right, to instill those things right away. And when you don't have that person that didn't go to that school, it's kind of hard for them to do it. So we're in the process of doing that. Our young men are responding. A lot of the things were missing. Some of those core values was missing. And that's our job. That's my job to instill, put those things back into the program. And we're working on it every day. We're working on it every day. And it's once again, it's just holding to our mission, and we're going to get it back. And so, but that's St. Aug, and they call me old school, but as I tell them, old school is how we got here. You know, if it wasn't for the old school, we wouldn't be here. So they're coming around, they're listening, everybody's buying into the program.
We're going to talk to some of the players in a little while. You've had quite a few guys go to big programs this year, and you got quite a few guys coming in next year's class and the class after that. How close, Al, do you keep to the recruiting process? How closely do you watch it?
Well, the main thing that I try to do is just make sure that the young men understand what it's all about, and that it's not a game, it's serious business. You know, just want to make sure that they're honest with the coaches. You know, tell them the truth, whatever the truth is, tell them the truth. You're interested, you're not interested. I will never make a decision for a young man as far as what school to go to, but I just make sure that no one's telling them anything. You know, just splitting their heads up, and I'm going to make sure that they're doing the right things. So I'm there when they need me. I'm paying attention, but I'm hands off, and whatever the families want to do, if they want to talk, I'll call and let them know the process, give them a good idea of what's going on. Some of them know more than me about the process, so you know, these days the kids are very aware, and they're intelligent young men. They know what they're looking for. You know, they know what the questions to ask. So they're well prepared themselves. You know, so really, literally, I have just been there in case of an emergency or a certain question. But those young men know what they want, where they want to do, what they do, and they know what they're looking for.
And you're in a unique position, not only as the head football coach, but you were the assistant principal, as we mentioned in the beginning of this segment, but now in the role of Director of Student Support and Services. You can really bridge that gap between recruiting, between academics, between being their football coach. You're in a very unique position.
It really is, and I love it. I love it. I can, as you say, I can do a lot of things. I can talk to colleges about non-football players, and I can give these young men better insight on about colleges. And so, yes, I'm sitting in a good position, but I'm still working with young men. I'm closer to the young men now. As an administrator, you kind of fall away from the kids. Now, basically I'm a counselor, and so now I'm closer to the children, to the kids. I'm talking to them every day, not only just on the football field, but also they come to our office. We have 2 other counselors that work with the kids closely, and we can just communicate better. You know, we just keep the lines of communication better, and it is a good position to be in.
You were recruited, and you played at Tulane. You were captain in 1978 team, and on that team you had Frank Robinson and Marty Wetzel and Martin Mitchell, and also on offense you had, you had Rock Hannes, and Eddie Murray was a kicker. So you had a good team. You came in with Benny Ellender, and Larry Smith was your coach. Talk about those years, how special they were for you, and what that taught you to be where you are now, Al.
You know, I think a lot of it, St. Aug prepared me for whatever Tulane was going to provide. And once I was on the Tulane campus, it was like everything was kind of like easy for me because of my training ground as a Purple Knight. And so it's a lot of things that I saw, I was able to deal with it. But playing college football at Tulane was great. It was fantastic. It exposed you to a lot of different people. A lot of those guys I met, these names you just called, great guys, outstanding guys, doing well in their life. I encourage these young men, I want them to have the same experiences I had, or better experiences I had as a college athlete. It's the best thing in the world. It's the best thing going. I used to love playing in the Superdome. Those years, the Superdome, my freshman year was the first year the Superdome was open. And you know, being on a college campus, it's just fantastic. And I enjoyed it as much as I could, and I really didn't want it to end. But you know, all good things must come to an end. So I really, truly loved playing college football. I just want these young men to have the same experience. And nowadays, they have a better, 10 times better opportunity than I had. And so they're going to get the experience.
That's Coach Al Jones, the head coach of the St. Augustine Purple Knights. Thank you for being here with us today, Al. And we're really looking forward to having you on the next segment with some of your players. Looking forward to great improvement from the Purple Knights this year. Coach Al Jones is getting St. Aug back to basics, which is where you have to start. We'll be right back with Coach Jones and a player after this timeout. This is PRI.